And we are live. Sip of coffee here first. Wet the old whistle, as they say. It's April 17th, 2023. I forgot to cover the fucking birds.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
I reminded myself like fucking 5 times.
Well, they reminded you now.
God damn it. And these are your Fortean Files with some birds. God fucking love them. Oh, they're a hoot. I fucking tried to remind myself like 15 I swear to God, like a shit ton of times. I'm like, remember to fucking cover the birds. Remember to cover the birds. Remember to cover the birds. Hey, Chris, remember to cover the fucking birds. I guess like I got an Amazon Echo show yesterday. And one of the functions of it, I can put sticky notes on it. And I guess I should have put a fucking sticky note on it that said, cover the fucking birds.
You should have made a sticky note. Bummer. Well, it doesn't bother me. I grew up with parakeets, so I think they just like blend into the background for me.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just sometimes when I'm doing it, it's annoying to me. When I listen to it back, I can hear them. But it's usually a lot lower than I hear it.
Yeah.
So, but if I listen to it and I don't have it in headphones, it gets them going again, and then it's just a vicious fucking cycle.
Indeed.
So, yeah. But yes, I welcomed the robot overlords into my fucking home.
You've
there
done
it
it.
sits on my wall. I speak to it. It brings me things.
It's pretty snazzy.
I speak and it plays music. It's magical. It's like fucking. If you showed this to a fucking caveman, he would think you wield the mystical powers of the universe.
Even if you showed it to somebody from like 1800, I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty mind-blowing, really.
Yeah. Now, because I think somebody from like the early 1900s would be like, wait a minute, this is like extrapolated technology. Like,
sure, they could accept it more.
Or an intelligent enough person could come to that conclusion, I think. But yeah, so a friend of mine had an Amazon Echo show. They had won, and they wanted to get rid of it. So gave me a deal on it. I was like, fuck it, yeah. Let's grab this. And brought it home. And it's neat. It's a neat little fucking unit. I'm going to use it quite a bit, I think, based on how functional it is with the calendar, the little, like I said, the notes, being able to leave myself notes or have somebody else leave me a note. Because all I got to do is talk to the fucking thing.
So. Got a lot of cool features to it that you'll get a lot of use out of.
Yeah, it also will sync up with, like, if I get some smart cameras for the home that are hooked up through the Wi-Fi in the house, it will sync. I can sync it to all of them and view them like on a screen, like a security type screen, which is pretty fucking cool. Nothing I really think I need or anything, but it'd just be cool to have. Yeah. Those cameras now have come down quite a bit in price. You can pick up some pretty cool shit.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
But yeah, so there's that. It's been a week. It's been an interesting week. So we will be staying on Monday evenings. My schedule will be changing with work, but it will just be sliding forward, so it won't change or affect the day that we broadcast at all. So Mondays will remain the day that we are live with the show. So woohoo there, because I kind of didn't want to have to change around the day that we do the show. It confuses people. And listen, with the caliber of fans that we've had in the past, I don't want to say that I have to spell it out for them.
We got to be careful.
But I do. So, yeah, I'm glad that it's staying on Mondays.
Yeah, Monday's good for me. So,
yeah, Mondays work. And it's just been a fucking week. I have a nice long weekend, nice 5 days off before I start my new schedule. So that's nice.
Yes, it sounds like a dream. 5 days off.
Yeah. It's like a mini vacation.
Yeah.
It's like a mini, like just kick back. Don't think about nothing.
I think they call that a staycation because you're at home.
Oh yeah. It's definitely one of those. But
you live in a beautiful place.
But I want to stab you for saying staycation because that's so morning zoo radio bullshit. Like,
hey, I'm a positive gal. Sorry.
Staycation.
That's the kind of vacations I plan to have this summer. So we're not traveling, so I'm staying home.
I love taking a vacation and staying home, to be honest. There's something to be said about doing that. It's
refreshing.
I like going away. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I like getting away and relaxing somewhere else. But to take a vacation and just sit home and not have to worry about packing up and taking off and traveling and getting there, fuck that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to get out of work at the end of my work week, be on vacation, drive to my house, strip out of my fucking work clothes, jump into the most comfortable fucking clothes that I have, and just laze around, whether it be in a chair or completely fucking horizontal.
Right. It's lovely.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Those are my life goals this summer. We didn't get to enjoy the lake much last year because of our flood problems and the wedding, and we just had a shit of a summer, but we have traveled a lot lately. So no traveling, and we're enjoying the lake this year. So I'm going to watch the weather, plan a couple strategic vacation days, and just stay home and be on the lake. And I look forward to it so much.
Nice. So yeah, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. Oh, I took out the scooter.
Oh, nice. Finally, yeah. We have some nice weather here too.
I unpacked the scooter. I had one day.
Yeah.
Ooh, one day. So, and the better day that I had, I actually was the day that I unpacked it. So I unpack it and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going to fucking get the gas out of this fucking thing. And Right. I stopped at O'Reilly's on my way home, grabbed a couple bottles of some stuff to clean out the fuel. And I go to start the bike. And it goes...
Oh,
nothing, just fucking battery dead.
I was just saying that sounds like a battery.
Fuck. So I don't have a charger. So I look them up on Amazon, and Amazon's like the prices are between like $30 and 40 something bucks.
That's not bad.
I was like, so I decided while I was out the other day to stop by O'Reilly's. Looked, it was $40.
Can you not jump it like with something else? Or does it not work that way with a scooter?
I wasn't about to try it.
I know it sounds scary.
Yeah, no. So I just bought the charger, which I'm like, I'm gonna need one anyway because I want to get a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's an investment.
Yeah, I intend to get my motorcycle license, get a motorcycle, so hopefully this year. But I'm like, I'm gonna need it, so I picked it up and threw it on the charger, and it started up no problem. And threw a bottle of the shit in, and it's ran a lot better. Took it for a ride, and it runs great. I just got to run through the gas that wound up in it. Yeah, because I wound up throwing regular unleaded in, and it just bogged it the fuck down. So I got to run that gas out and throw some super unleaded, and it'll be fine. But yep, yeah. Scooter is back on the road.
Exciting times.
Fucking love that season. Thing it can't get out of its own way, but I fucking love it. 100 miles to the gallon all the way to work.
It is pretty ballin'.
I will do fucking 35 miles an hour, 40 downhill. I think I've had it up as high as 42 going downhill. But I would like to get something faster and get my motorcycle license this year for sure.
With where you live, you don't need to go real fast. I mean, I guess if you get on the
I'd like to be able to go further with it.
Yeah.
To take longer trips. So but yeah, I love driving that fucking little thing everywhere. It's fun. I'll run into some wildlife, some big feet. Some big feet out in the woods.
You could. You're in the right spot.
There was one time I was driving to work, there was a fox on the side of the road, just kind of sitting there looking at me like,
that's so cute.
Yeah, it is neat. Some of the shit that you'll see when you're driving, like, because I would drive that thing late at night a lot.
Yeah.
I'd like get on it because I'm a wicked night owl to begin with. I work third shift currently, but I get on, like 2-3 in the morning. I'd hop on the fucking bike and just go for a fucking ride.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it. It's just quiet. Yeah, and it's quiet. There's like nobody on the road.
Right.
So you can like zip around, go wherever you want. You don't got anybody bothering you.
That is nice.
Nobody's like, because one of the worst things about it is when people get in my blind spot behind me.
Right.
And it's like, dude, just fucking go around me.
Yeah.
I'm like a bicycle. Just go. Carry on. So, but anyway,
you do see some stuff at that hour though. We leave for work like before 6 a.m. and it's a country drive. So we see all sorts of wildlife. We see shooting stars. I mean, we see all sorts of cool stuff. It's actually really fun. I enjoy our morning drives.
Yeah.
Other than when I hit the deer. I mean, that sucked.
But... Yeah, that shit blows. That definitely sucks.
Yeah, that was traumatic. But I lived. The deer did, but I did.
Right, but you made it.
Yes.
All right. Our first story of the evening from the New York Post, the NYPOST.com. Strange glowing spiral in the sky over Alaska baffles locals. Is it time for Independence Day 3 already? Oh, look at them with their jokes. A photographer southeast of Fairbanks, Alaska, captured an unusual phenomenon in the night skies early Saturday, a stunning and bright spiral that was surrounded by the aurora of the northern lights. But there was something eerily different about the sudden celestial centerpiece. It was moving. It got bigger and bigger, photographer Todd Salat told the Anchorage Daily News, adding that the beautiful piece of art in the sky was just about directly overhead 5 minutes later. I had absolutely no idea what it was. I would say this was maybe the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. Hundreds of miles northeast in the remote Arctic community of Kotzebue, midwife Elizabeth Withnall had seen something similar. We got a lot of very unusual phenomenon in the sky in the far north with Nulls, told the outlet. I've seen fog bows and rainbows around the moon, so I just thought this is some weird thing in the sky, and I don't know what it is, but it's pretty cool. It turns out that weird thing was man-made and appears to be rocket engine exhaust from a SpaceX Transporter 7 mission that launched on the Falcon 9 about 3 hours earlier in California, according to Don Hampton, a professor at the University of Alaska Fairbanks Geophysical Institute. The mission launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base north of Los Angeles just before midnight Friday. The reusable Falcon 9, a two-stage booster rocket, completed a rideshare program mission where 51 other spacecrafts were stored. Water vapor in the exhaust from the second stage engine freezes and catches high-altitude sunlight, effectively glowing and creating this spiral galaxy of a display. It did this pass by over Alaska, stunning many night watchers, Hampton told the news over email. Dun, 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 and I'll show you the images. Give me
you better after all that. I want
to just a second here. Boom. That's
whoa.
That's one image of it. Then there's that.
What? That almost looks unreal. Wow.
Yes, especially with like the northern lights going on.
That's wicked. That's like mind-bending. No way.
Yeah, there's that.
Looks like one of those Chinese throwing stars.
Yeah, it looks weird.
Wow.
And there's that there. It's a cool little thing.
Super cool.
Yeah. I thought that was neat
if I saw that in person, I would be completely flabbergasted for sure.
Right? Our next story of the evening from exemplar.com. Footage shows multiple guests encountering Bigfoot at a ski resort. Cryptozoologists often think about what locations would be the most hospitable to sustaining a Bigfoot population while also allowing them to remain undetected by humans, but few would think to check ski resorts. All right, let's just watch the video. Katie, let's just watch the video. What do you think? I'm not going to read their horse shit tonight. Just not going to do it. Let's just watch the video. Oh, what the hell? Let's go full screen.
You say it's really small.
Can you see it better there?
No. Same size.
It's the same size?
Are there two of them, or are those people back there?
Those are people, so it's not... you're not seeing it yet. It's not zoomed in yet. Now it's zoomed in. There's like right up in here. There's something moving around.
Yeah, I saw the figure. I couldn't see it well enough to make any kind of determination, but even if I did see it, I probably wouldn't have much productive to say.
Right. There's not much there.
No.
And
all the people around is weird. That's unique in a video like this, for sure.
Right. So why didn't somebody just go up and look?
Right.
Or, at least get in to get a better look.
Right. Or something like, I don't know.
And as always, the video is fucking super short.
Right. And it's on TikTok. I'm just saying, but
yeah, and it's on fucking TikTok.
I hate TikTok. Blasphemy, I know. Sorry.
No, I'm not a big TikTok person, so I'm not like sitting here going rah TikTok.
I think it's the downfall of society, but it's just
it could be. It very well could be. I don't know. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying
neither, but
that I don't use it.
Yeah, me neither.
That's interesting. That's a first. I have one of our other stories popped up as an ad on my story.
Interesting.
That
Look
is
at that
very
algorithm go.
Look at that shit go. Wow. Our next story of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, comes from thedailyrecord.co.uk. Nessie sighting as Taurus snaps mysterious shape with huge neck on Loch Ness. John Payne, 55, from Newport in Wales, was admiring the scenery from his hotel window when he noticed some strange movement on the loch. A holidaymaker couldn't believe his eyes when he captured a mysterious creature on Loch Ness with a huge neck. John Payne, 55, from Newport in Wales, was admiring the scenery from his hotel window when he noticed some strange movement on the loch. The dad of 3 quickly grabbed his camera and managed to grab several snaps which appear to show a shape on the surface. Stories of a Loch Ness monster, sometimes nicknamed Nessie, have been around for centuries. Conclusive evidence either way has never been found. John said, I was looking out at the scenery from the window, and this huge thing just appeared out of nowhere. I tried to get a picture, but it was gone, and then it popped up again further down the loch. I took another picture and then zoomed in on my camera, waited to see if it would appear again, and it did. It must have been something very large because we were about a mile away from the loch, and I could see it clearly. You wouldn't have been able to see a bird or anything that far away. It had to be something large. I'm just going to show you guys the pictures now.
That is interesting. A mile away.
So, here we go. There's the thing is right here. Right above those trees right there.
Yeah.
So if you come down here, they have it circled. They have the infamous red circle. Which we all love from back in the day. How many red circles can you put on a video? Those were the days, Katie. Those were the days. There's another image, another angle of it. And there's I guess
Howdy.
they do. Wow, holy
Hi,
shit. I don't know if we need to see that, but
is there any zoomed in cropped picture of it?
That's it right there. That's what you get.
It kind of looks like a duck, but I do admit from a mile away that would be a really big fucking duck. So, but maybe it's a swan.
That'd be a large fucking something.
I don't know. Do they got swans there?
I don't know. I don't know what it could be. I don't know.
I think it's a stretch to say it's Nessie.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's just me.
Let me see if there's any... Yeah, nothing in the story says that they came to any conclusion as to what it was. So, yeah, I just thought it was interesting. It's an interesting picture.
Indeed.
That's about it. It's about all you get is an interesting fucking picture. A picture. Our next story of the evening, from, if it'll fucking load up, for fuck's sake, USFOracle.com. Occult Research Society investigates USF global folklore. By investigating haunted location seals and recording sightings of ghosts on campus, President Nolan, the man with the same two names, and Vice President Brendan Nguyen, I don't fucking know how you pronounce that one either, or Brenda, sorry, observed many peculiar things while leading the Occult Research Society Club at USF. Nolan said he has always been intrigued and fascinated by his own name, by the occult. He tested out this curiosity by occasionally playing with a Ouija board and visiting a haunted historical house an hour away from campus. He noticed a doll's silhouette in the house's attic window that changed positions when he visited the room a second time. Despite witnessing paranormal occurrences, Nolan has no fear when investigating the occult, only interest. I think I love the idea of mystery in this world. I love thinking that there's something out there that can be discovered. I think that there's all the paranormal occult stuff out there that not a lot of people are paying attention to. So I love the idea of being able to figure that out, he said. Daniel Mendoza founded the Occult Research Society in 2019 during his sophomore year at USF, where he was the club's president until Nolan succeeded him. Needed that. The art of folklore, oral storytelling, and the unification of people through supernatural research captivated Mendoza. He said he realized occult research was beneficial for his project in creative writing. So the idea of an occult research club at USF came into fruition. The mission of the club is to collect and categorize urban legends on a global scale, especially on campus. Mendoza said he understood that expanding the management team was beneficial for the organization of the Occult Research Society, initially appointing Nolan as the vice president and adding a treasurer position. As his graduation approached, Mendoza recognized the spark and creativity that Nolan and Nguyen possessed and recommended them for roles of president and vice president. Excuse me.
Nice.
Nolan showed a lot of interest. He has a way of doing things which is awesome. I am glad that he and Brenda take the initiative to better the club, create an inclusive and learning environment with cool topics, Mendoza said. Brenda is super creative. She likes to paint and make artistic things for the club, like chalk sigils for an activity. General topics the club researches are cursed objects, demonology, alchemy, dolls, ghosts, cryptids, monsters, supernatural artifacts, and magical practices from different cultures across the globe. Nguyen described the Occult Research Society as a casual, educational, spooky, and relaxing environment to learn about the paranormal. The most notable strength of the club is every member's open mindset and great desire to learn about the occult, hypothesize, and discuss theories, Nolan said. However, the club's current unpopularity, with only a turnout of 10 members out of 181, is something leadership wants to work on, according to Nolan. They aspire to improve by organizing Bulls market events next semester and promoting the club on social media. This goes on and on a little longer, but I thought it was kind of interesting. There's like an occult society club, I guess.
When you listed off their reach there, it was quite a broad spectrum of topics.
Yeah.
But you made me snort with your joke, so.
Yeah, well. Good old Nolan.
Why would their parents do that?
I don't know.
I know it's been done before. I knew somebody named Daniel McDaniel once. No joke.
Daniel McDaniel. Nice.
I love it. It's so
your parents fucking hate you.
Yeah, for sure.
Your parents definitely fucking hate you. Just accept that. If your parents name you Daniel McDaniel, fucking hang yourself, because your parents are fucking sick individuals.
He was a cool dude. I think he was a twin too. I could be wrong. But then it's like your parents really hate you because there were two of you and you're the one.
And he was named Nathaniel McDaniel.
I don't know if he was, but I sure hope he was. Oh God.
Fucking hell.
So funny.
God damn. Jesus. I went to school with a set of twins. And on April Fool's Day, they would switch.
Yeah.
And go to each other's classes.
They get away with it pretty good.
See how long it would take before the teachers would figure it out.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That was back when you could do that shit.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. These days, I think you could get away with it. A lot of kids get away with a lot of shit these days. Yeah.
Think so?
From what I hear of my high schooler in my home. Yes. She got away with some shit, so.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, that was some shit that happened. All right, on with our next story of the fucking evening here. What do I got? Which one do I want to do? Which one do I want to do, Katie? Do I want to save that one? I don't know. Let's do this one. From the metro.co.uk, man thinks he's seen a donut UFO above Dudley 10 years after the Dudley Dorito. A man who filmed a mysterious donut-shaped object flying in the sky believes he may have captured proof of aliens. Graham Rawlinson, 60, was walking his dog Nala in Dudley in the West Midlands when he spotted something the size of a house flickering and darting above him. He started filming it and ended up with a clip showing the object spinning between two streetlights at 9:20 p.m. on March 27th. The sighting, dubbed the Dudley Donut, comes a decade after a triangular-shaped craft dubbed the Dudley Dorito caught the nation's imagination. And taste buds, I guess. The dad of 4 said it was a nice bright night and you could see all the stars. It looked like a star at first, but then I thought, stars don't move like that or have icing and glaze that make me hungry.
Sprinkles.
As I was looking at it, it was moving. It was moving at the speed of a car, like at 30 miles per hour. It was a weird shape. It looked like a donut. Sounds mad, but there was a hole in it.
Good old Homer
The
Simpson
Krispy
donut.
Kreme light was on, and you might call me crazy.
Oh shit.
What if it was like a portal? There's a hole in it. It did confuse me. It could be a portal to somewhere else.
Donut land.
If it was an airplane, they have their lights on, you can hear them. This was completely silent. It wasn't massively far away, but it wasn't too close. If there were clouds in the sky, it would have been the height of the clouds. There was no wind, so it couldn't have been a balloon. It could have been a mile up. I'd say it's alien. Of course you would.
For sure.
They're watching us and then flying off to wherever to report back. Graham, who claims to have experienced similar sightings in 2009 and 2019, believes Dudley is a hotspot for extraterrestrial life. He said he previously spotted an orb-shaped UFO and even one which looked like a cigar. The Dudley Dorito was spotted 3 times in 3 years above British skies between 2010 and 2013.
Oh, so this is in Britain. I was just going to ask you what state this was in, but it's in...
Yeah, it's in the UK.
Britain. Okay.
It's thought to be noiseless, 4 or 5 times larger than a plane, and has lights attached to it. A few witnesses say it changed its shape. Some people believe it's a supersonic aircraft made by the U.S. or another country. But despite Graham's extraterrestrial claims, there may be a more simple explanation. Dr. Seth Shostak, senior astronomer, Institute fellow at the SETI Institute, told Metro, "Well, of course, the only information I have is the video, but my guess is that this is Venus. Very bright in the evening sky these days, and because of the dark background, the camera's autofocus mechanism can't focus well. So what you see here is an autofocus Venus, which becomes this roundish pattern thanks to the camera's optics. In other words, while it would certainly be a big story if alien craft were visiting Dudley, I think this is simply an example of what are called camera artifacts, and originates a mere few feet away from Mr. Rawlinson."
But didn't he say he saw it in person, not just through his camera?
Correct.
So that explanation is stupid.
And I can show it to you. Because there's video, Katie. We're going to watch it. Oh, of course we get an ad. Those motherfuckers. I'm not giving you the fucking sound. Fuck you, you pricks. All right, here we go. Dude walking his dog. It's in the sky.
Okay, so from here it does just kind of look like a dot. And he said it was like a mile up. It looks like way more than a mile.
Yeah. But he knows. Listen, Katie, he knows it's aliens. He knows. He's an expert. Dudley's a hotspot, Katie.
When you take what he said and then watch the video, it's kind of like, well, your words don't really match what you just experienced. I don't know anything about I'm really bad with measurements, but to say that's maybe a mile up sounds pretty stupid to me. It looks like way more than a mile up.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody else with some a better idea of distance can give me an idea. But I don't know. I'm not good with that shit.
The dude in the article said it was a fucking planet, so that's quite a distance.
Yeah.
Way more than a mile.
A hell of a distance.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, that does not look.
Yeah, it does indeed look like a planet. I know I was a little snarky of like, oh, if you saw it in person, it can't possibly be a planet. But
at first, I kind of thought it looked like it was moving, but I think it's just the camera.
Yeah. And I do see the little dot, but I wouldn't say it looks like a donut.
Yeah, when he first goes up on it, it kind of looks like it's moving down, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, it does kind of give that effect.
So
when the light is still in the view.
Maybe somebody with a better idea of stuff like this. Maybe there's a guy.
I think we know a guy.
Katie, no, Katie. Maybe there's a guy out there who does video breakdowns.
It sounds like,
and maybe that guy could look at this video. But as hard as I try, Katie, I cannot find anyone that does this sort of thing, that does breaks down videos of this nature and could tell us if it's in fact moving. I don't know anyone.
It's by the way, it needs to be filled.
By the way, Katie.
Yeah.
I spoke to Phil Poling the other day.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing wonderful, doing great. He's he's doing Phil things.
But not our Phil things.
He's doing Phil things. I don't know what to say. Listen, I can't find a guy that breaks down videos. I don't know what to tell you.
Fucking Phil.
If only I knew somebody that could be like, hey, yeah, that's not moving, or hey, yeah, that's definitely moving, or hey, he's right, it's a fucking planet.
He needs to carve out some time for his people.
Yeah, exactly. So
even just a few. I mean, we've got quite a list of videos we could have him look at here.
Well, so when I sent him a message, I'm like, Phil, this is fucking I wish you were doing videos. There's a shit ton of videos that I'd really like you to take a look at. And he was like, what videos? And I'm like, you can just watch the show, dude.
Well, are people not sending him stuff anymore? I find that hard.
I don't know. I honestly think he's just given up.
He has such a solid following, though. Honestly,
I think he just doesn't give a shit anymore. He's more interested in just life,
and that's fair. I mean, that is fair.
I get it.
But I selfishly want to beg for him to come back, Phil.
I'm gonna guess Sue
Edon.
If you knew when and where the video, you could look up the planet positions in a sky program. Yeah. I personally, I don't know if it had the date. I think it did. It might have had the date on there.
Well, I'm guessing that's how the person in the article that refuted it and said that it was Venus or whatever. I'm guessing they looked it up, and that's
well. They also said that Venus is extremely bright in the night sky right now.
Yes, and that is true. I've read about that recently, so
interesting. Thanks for joining us and throwing the comment in there, Sue.
Welcome.
I'm gonna guess that's how we pronounce your name. I don't know.
Yes, sorry if we're wrong.
I don't know. If it's Pusu, I apologize. If there's another way to pronounce it, I'm fucking at a loss. Anyhow, our next story of the evening. Let's see. Let's go with this one. I saved this one especially for you, Katie. This is just for you. From EastTennessean.com. Cryptids of the South, the White Screamer, or as some of us like to call it, a Friday night. We're going to White Bluff, Tennessee to visit the White Bluff Screamer. The White Bluff Screamer? I thought it was the White Screamer. There are a variety of explanations for the cryptid, but the known information is that people regularly hear screaming in the area. It might be hard to divulge specifics about the monster because apparently the area has multiple. Stories from the area range from werewolves and werewolf hunters to banshees and ghosts. A news article written by Chris Gadd for, ironically, the Tennessean postulates that the lore comes from the story of a family tormented by nightly screaming. The husband left one night to search for it when he heard his family screaming and returned to find them all dead.
Jeez.
In that version, there is said to be the figure of a woman dressed in white, which I think sounds similar either to the story of banshees, or for any supernatural fans out there, the story of the White Lady. For those who don't recognize the story of the White Lady, it details a woman who finds that her husband is cheating and in a fit of rage kills her children. Realizing what she has done, she then kills herself. Not the nicest story, but definitely one full of drama and intrigue. The other popular tale of the Screamer says that it is an escaped animal from a traveling circus that was too violent for anyone to catch. Interestingly enough, Gadd's article also details this and postulates that the same train that brought the circus to town also brought White Bluff's very own werewolf. Aha. Interesting. That doesn't really tell me exactly what the fucking White Screamer is.
I would say that was actually kind of a conglomerate of all these little teasers for a cool story. Like, honestly, you got me when you said the guy went out to look for the scream and then he heard his family screaming. Like, that's pretty fucked up. That sounds like a story I want to hear. But then you threw in the werewolf and then that's a lot of information with not a lot of answers.
We guessed right, but we guessed like 15 different things, dude.
Yeah, but I think it was Sue.
But yeah, anyway, the White Screamer. That's an interesting name for a fucking cryptid.
It is. It got me for a second.
The White Screamer? Okay.
Excuse me?
Tell me more. Tell me more. Let's see. And our title story of the evening comes from Exemplar, it looks like, but it's on MSN.com. Hidden centuries old giant maze has slime that could change the world. Deep in the heart of the Mexican mountains grows an ancient species of giant corn plant that grows twice as large and has strange aerial roots that drip a slime that could revolutionize agriculture and end farming reliance on toxic chemicals. For centuries, possibly even longer, the indigenous farmers have cultivated this mysterious maze that oral traditions date as over 2,000 years old. An agricultural scientist living in Oaxaca heard tales of this supersized corn that was about 16 to 18 feet high, which caught his attention since American varieties max out at 10 feet or so. He described seeing it for the first time as mythical, a seemingly impossible crop kept hidden by a generation of farmers that was unlike anything he had ever witnessed previously. This corn wasn't just giant, but also had strange protuberances extending from the stalk, joints, like fingers that dripped with a mucilaginous slime that was thick and viscous. So it secretes cum. These aerial roots appeared to be protruding a form of self-fertilizer that provided the nitrogen rush needed for the plants to attain their fantastic giant size, and meant farmers barely needed to add artificial fertilizer to the soil. The only problem being that a corn plant that produces its own nitrogen sounded like science fiction to everybody who heard it. The entire population is essentially fueled by cereal grains, but none of them can fix their own nitrogen levels, instead relying on what can be extracted from the soil around them. Some farmers spray huge amounts of nitrogen-rich fertilizer to try and maintain steady and large yields of crops. This practice is bad for the environment and also expensive, but people need to eat, so the practice continues. This new corn slime could change all of that by offering a biological hack to solve a systemic problem in our agricultural food sources. The locals refer to this variety of ancient giant corn as alotone. Alotone, looks like. Somebody correct me. Sue, fucking correct me. But even throughout Mexico, the hidden fields of this corn were basically unknown to the wider population until 1980. But it still took an additional 30 years to gather a team to study the fascinating Mexican maize. The researchers understood community involvement was vital to their success, so they built the lab right there where the locals who kept this mythical plant alive could now help them study it. The slime was found to contain high amounts of nitrogen-fixing bacteria usually found in the soil. But this gel the plant secretes acts as a barrier shield, creating a low oxygen environment, so the bacteria can convert the atmospheric nitrogen from the air into a form the plant can absorb. This allows the mythical maize to draw 80% of its required nitrogen from the air, essentially the agricultural holy grail. In a disappointing display of human failure, many started to question who owns the rights to this corn. Jesus fucking Christ.
I know. Ain't that a bitch? You know who owns the rights? Humans. I know.
Who owns the rights to this corn that could change the world? And added fuel to a fire known as biopiracy, meaning there is a misappropriation of biodiversity for research or commercial development that essentially loots the origin source, cuts out the locals, and makes a lot of money. In many cases, such as the alotone corn, the indigenous people who have cared for this crop and kept it through the centuries are telling the rest of the world this isn't just a crop, but something intrinsically linked to their culture, heritage, and lifestyles, essentially falling back on the labor theory of property credited to John Locke that boils down to whomever did the work should own the fruits of their labor. Unfortunately, this massive find is not yet being utilized because the output of the alotone can't compete with the modern industrial scale, meaning scientists have to crossbreed it with other varieties to see if they can attain both maximum output and the nearly magical quality of self-fertilization. So far, they've been able to halve the growing time and get nitrogen absorption up to 40%, but they estimate they're probably 3 to 4 generations away from a stabilized hybrid corn. From corn, it would then be a small step to adapting other cereal grains such as such as rice or wheat to utilize the atmospheric nitrogen, which would have global impacts on reducing artificial fertilizers that are damaging the ecological systems. That's cool.
Some exciting stuff. It could completely change farming all over the world. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
that's some pretty neat shit.
It's some like scientific crazy shit, but it's very cool.
Definitely some scientific crazy shit.
Yeah.
So, and before we get into, because I know you wanted to talk about the Lori Vallow trial.
Yeah.
Because you've been looking into that. That started, correct?
Yes. Well, they had.
Shit! I just deleted my other story. God damn it! Oh well.
Well, are we still doing a break this evening? Trying that out?
Yeah, I can do that for you right now. Hold on
right.
just a second. Let me put. Where is the Where is the music? Let's see if we can find some music. There we go. We're night driving. So we are going to take a brief pause. Enjoy the sounds of night driving.
Be right back.
We'll be right back. And we are back. Let me get rid of the night driving music.
That was nice music.
I don't think we need that anymore.
It's very chill hoppy.
Yeah, I like that. There's feeding the ducks.
I love feeding ducks.
I don't know that.
I feel like I've heard that one somewhere before.
I don't think that makes me think Feeding the Ducks.
No, I like the other one.
There's Into Space. The fuck?
It's very 90s cell phone.
I'm sticking with the night driving. We're gonna stick with the night driving for now when we do the break.
I like it.
So I did grab a true crime story about a fucking serial killer.
Oh yeah.
That blinded one of the cops. It was an interesting story. Anyway, it was from the UK. That was a story that I accidentally deleted. So I fucked that up. I meant to delete. I don't think I've heard
that one.
The slime story, and I deleted the wrong fucking one. So, anywho, so what do you got for us on Lori Vallow there, Katie?
Well, the trial's begun. They did jury selection last week. Anybody who's familiar with it knows that originally her and Chad Daybell, her new husband, were supposed to be tried together, but the lawyers talked them out of that, and now they're having separate trials.
What's the reasoning behind that?
I honestly couldn't tell you because it's been so long. This has been such a journey, just even fucking getting here.
Right.
But I do remember that, like, legally, in the legal sense, it did make sense that they would have separate trials. Just because this is different in the aspect of he physically did it, allegedly.
Right.
And she was a major party too, allegedly.
Right.
So I mean, it is a stark
I'm
difference.
wondering if my questioning of it is, I'm wondering if they are trying to avoid certain charges in having their trials be separate.
Yes, it's a strategy for sure.
Yeah.
But it was a legitimate legal strategy. But
right.
To me, the most interesting part so far, and maybe I'm weird for thinking it's interesting, but right off the bat, in the first week of testimony and stuff, they got into the pictures, the autopsies, the injuries inflicted upon
the kids.
Yep.
No shit.
And his ex-wife. All of her stuff's in it too. So, like, horrific pictures up for everybody to see. Not us, because there's no cameras in the courtroom. But everybody in the courtroom is seeing this horrific stuff. And her defense team really tried to fight for her to not be present. She wanted to waive her right to be present because it was too hard on her mental state, which they were able to really justify arguing because there was a big, huge debate about her mental stability to even get to this point.
Right.
But the judge declined it and said, no, she needs to sit in this courtroom and hear this and see this. So that's been really interesting. And we can't see physically her reactions, but people that are in the courtroom are coming out and describing it. And yeah, she should sit in there and she should fucking look at this stuff, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
So that's been the standout thing for me personally, watching what I've watched, all the summaries of stuff that have come out of court and talked about it.
It's just been crazy.
They've had some big witnesses already. I really feel like this was going to be a long trial, but man, they're cutting right to the chase. They're getting right to the hard stuff.
Jumping right into it.
Mm-hmm. And God, it's so horrific. And all the phone calls that they've played, a lot of them we've heard before because they've been released through the years. And gosh, they're just so hard to listen to them. The way, especially the famous one of her and her husband talk, the first time they spoke when he was before he got arrested, but she was already arrested, I think. And it was when they were searching his property. Right. And that is going to be so damning because all she really responded with was like, Should I pray? Should I pray for you?
Ugh.
It's not a good look, man. It's not a good look.
How fucking delusional can you be?
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of ticks off 2 of our boxes for the second hour. I mean, so
cult mom. She's called cult mom.
She's called cult mom. Like, she believed in these wacky, like, end of the world fucking conspiracy type theories. Like, didn't she believe that Chad was like some Messiah reborn or some shit?
Yes, and they believed that they were married in past lives, and that's why.
Oh, that's always good.
Yes, and that's why she justified having intimate relations with him while she was still married.
That'll always because
they were married in a past life.
That'll always help your delusions.
Mm-hmm.
When you justify it by saying, "Oh, we've done this before. We've been here before."
I'm pretty sure they claim to be some old famous couple, and I don't remember which one, but some like historic famous couple. They claim to be them reincarnate.
Really?
Yeah.
That's always interesting.
Romantic.
Did you ever see that movie Dead Again? I think it's called Dead Again. Let me look it up. I gotta look it up now. Dead Again. I think it's called Dead Again.
It sounds familiar, but not like something I've
seen. Yes, it's called Dead Again. It's from it was in 1991. Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson, Robin Williams, Andy Garcia. It's a interesting movie on the idea of past lives. I'm not a huge past life guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe, I guess it's possible. Energy can't really be created or destroyed or whatever the fuck it is.
I don't personally think it works that way.
But I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it was an interesting movie about 2 people who were experiencing a past life. They happen to be lovers. And how that fucking progresses. It's an interesting movie, worth the watch, I would say.
I just looked it up. I definitely have not seen that.
Yeah, Dead Again. Yeah, Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson.
Oh, I already closed it out.
Yeah, Emma Thompson, and it's on Amazon Prime, and I might watch it again. I might fucking throw that on again. Just give myself a little fucking past life regression. I saw it when I was still in fucking high school. The first time I saw it. It gives you some fucking perspective.
Well, I was like 3 when it came out. So
right, exactly. So you were very, very young.
Yes. I've seen some old movies, but that isn't one of them. So
old movies. It's funny to me that a movie that I saw when I was in my fucking teens to you is considered an old movie.
To be fair, my favorite old movie was made before both of us were born, and that's Arsenic and Old Lace.
Never heard of it.
It's a murder comedy.
Huh.
And it's fucking hilarious. We watched it in school randomly, and then it became our favorite movie in school, and we watched it over and over and over again.
No.
Arsenic and Old Lace. It's a fantastic old classic. Black and white, little old sweet lady that secretly kills people. It's great.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Never ever heard of it.
Look it up. It's a fun time. I promise.
I'll have to. Remind me after the show. But yeah, the Lori Vallow case, that one, it hits me in a lot of ways. Like the brother was involved in the death of the kids. He was definitely involved.
The uncle of the kids.
Right. And he was also involved in the killing of her husband. Her ex-husband.
Yes. Well,
or technically,
I don't think they were
married.
Formally divorced yet.
Right.
They were just separated.
Right. That and then wasn't her brother involved in the cult too?
Yes, and in fact, that's one of the things that came out in the trial this week was they played a phone recording, and I don't remember at what point in the timeline of like who had been caught or who had been arrested, but it was a phone call of Chad giving a blessing over the phone to Alex Cox, the brother uncle.
Right.
And oh, these phone calls aren't good, man. Which I'm glad. Like, she needs to go down, but like,
yeah,
the evidence is just like already week 1. It's just fucking stacking.
good.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, as a parent, to know, like, when you see people who have done this type of shit, and I'm blanking on the dude, the guy who killed his daughters and his wife.
Chris Watts.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you. People like this, like him, like her, Chad Daybell, for the record, as well.
Yeah.
Like that do this type of thing, especially when it involves young children. It's
Children of
horrific.
any age.
It's A, it's horrific. B, it's monstrous. Like, you're a fucking monster.
It's the deepest depths of depravity to harm a child.
Yeah, it's just how much of a fucked up individual do you have to be? Like,
Yeah.
and this goes to another point that I can't stress enough currently in this fucking country. We need better mental health. We need better mental health in this country. We need to have better mental health screening. We need to catch this shit before it gets there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what it costs. I really don't. I don't care what it fucking costs. The benefits would far outweigh the cost to me in my fucking pocketbook for taxes.
Yeah, that's a willing deduction that I would gladly contribute
since
to.
Since the 80s, I remember a time in a day when I saw 0 homeless people in Maine. I see them everywhere now.
We got a steady population here.
A lot of this is due to no mental health facilities.
Yeah.
Is a fucking huge problem in this country. And when I hear stories about people like Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell and these, fucking crazy things that happen, maybe we could catch it, maybe we couldn't. There's a lot of protections for religious shit.
There are, but I actually think this is the perfect case to show that it could have been caught, because it's actually the thing that captivates and horrifies me so much is Tylee. She was 17.
Yeah.
She heard her mother talking about people being on this light and dark scale, and she heard her mother declaring that she all of a sudden was dark. She had a sense. And there's been stuff that have come out of like things she said to other people where she has kind of poked fun at it. And she didn't necessarily respect her mother's religious choices. And I tell you, I came from a broken home and I watched my parents at the age of 17. And I was really fucking aware. This girl knew to some degree. She understood, she comprehended what was happening when it happened to her.
Oh yeah. And she was pretty much an adult.
That's not to say that she should have been more brave or anything like that, but it's so sad to think that people don't feel comfortable enough to speak up sometimes. For her to go to school and be like, yo, my parents have lost it. I need social services in here stat.
Yeah.
Because she knew. There's so much evidence and
well,
people I've heard talk that she knew her mom had lost it.
Well, and the other problem too, Katie, is people don't want to call in social services because social services is a fucking disaster.
I know.
It's a fucking disaster.
An awful shit show.
Take it from somebody who knows, who had social services involved in his life at a young age.
Yeah.
You don't fucking want it.
I know. You don't. It's a double-edged sword for sure. But it's just so sad that like a girl like that couldn't reach out and get help, or at least felt like she couldn't reach out and get help, or just fucking run away. But she also had her little brother JJ that she was looking out for too, who got declared dark before she did.
Yeah.
So like it's just so when you really sit down and like dive into it and you hear all these conversations, it is so wild and sad.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely.
But I do have confidence she's going to go down. So,
Sue Edon. The other end of the scale is the horror show that was the mental health of the institutions of the 50s through the 70s. See the film Titty Cut Follies, among others. So there needs to be a middle ground. I completely agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. The stuff that happened early on in mental health
was a horror show.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
Like lobotomies and things of that nature. Like, no. The electroshock therapy. No.
Well, there's the whole root behind, why we call people a basket case.
No, I don't know that.
The root of that.
Oh. No. Inform me. I want to be informed today.
That phrase of speech or whatever came from way back in the Dizzy, I think the early 1900s, not even the 40s or 50s, before that, where people would transport their mentally ill children by mail carrier in a basket where just their head came out the top and the rest of their bodies were in a basket, and that's how they got delivered to the mental institutions. So they were a basket case. If I'm lying, I'm dying. That's where that came from.
We were fucking cruel people.
It's fucked. People say it all the time, and you don't even think about it. That we used to cave.
I love how people are like, we need to get back to America's roots. God damn it!
To start basking our children.
We need to get back to when we did shit the right way. God, fuck yeah.
I don't know why that little factoid really stuck with me whenever I learned it eons ago.
I remember fucking society. Fucking Edith, do you got Johnny in the basket? Has he got the proper postage?
Literally, mail carrier. Like chickens. That's how we treat our little chicks nowadays. They get sent in little wicker cages.
Oh, look at this. Bill the mail carrier comes up to the house.
There's pictures of it. I mean,
there's little Johnny in the basket. Look at the confused look on his face.
It's so bad. I feel like I keep just like bringing all these horrible facts to the show. What was it last week? I remember apologizing last week. Like, sorry for shitting on your day here. Oh, it was the Dalai Lama. That's what it was. Yeah, I remember now.
Off to the mental institution with Johnny.
It's a dark times, man. People are messed up.
Oh, fuck. What a dark time.
Yep.
Oh, fucking mailing their kids to the fucking mental institution.
Right?
Whew.
In a basket.
In a fucking basket.
It's kind of like a reverse dog cone, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a fucking dog cone's a little more humane.
It's way more humane. Are you kidding me? We treat our dogs better than we used to treat our disabled children.
What the fuck? Yeah, but completely agreed, Sue. The the mental health treatment of the 50s through the 70s was not
We've come a long way.
It was not of exactly good. But we need something. We need to be able to treat people. And do I think that mental health care is perfect? No. But we need to do something.
Yeah.
At this point.
This is a tough case because of the religion involvement, no doubt.
Yeah.
It makes it hard. Makes it real hard.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the answer is. I honestly don't know what the answer is. I know that there are 2 kids that are dead. And that's a tragedy. That I don't know that it could have been avoided. Maybe it could have. I'd like to think that it possibly could have. But maybe I'm just being too overly positive, optimistic.
No,
I don't know.
I'm the queen of optimism, and it's what makes this case so sad is that there were so many red flags. I mean, when Lori's ex-husband got killed, Tylee was there. Tylee tried to hit Alex with a baseball bat to stop the fight.
Right.
Before her dad, I think it was her stepdad actually, got shot.
Right. He was the father of the youngest kid.
Actually, he was adopted. JJ was adopted.
JJ was adopted,
but he was the adopted father.
The father was the father of one of the kids, though, wasn't he? The real father? I want to say
he might have been the father of Tylee, maybe.
I want to say he was.
I'm not sure, but he definitely wasn't the father of JJ. JJ was adopted.
Wow. What the
through
fuck,
a family association, but yeah, no, it's the whole case is so complicated. I will say, I know every case that goes to trial that gets a lot of attention is complicated, but like this one, man, it has layers, it has trees and branches, and it's super complicated, but it's just so sad. And I think everybody remembers when they were missing.
I just can't imagine
they were in Hawaii.
Being so complacent.
Yeah.
About
that's what I mean.
What has happened to your children.
Right.
When
they were in Hawaii
involved.
just doing their thing and couldn't even bother to make a comment to the press about their missing fucking children.
Yeah.
That they're legally responsible for.
Not even a bullshit lie. Just absolutely nothing.
Just a smile and no comment.
Just walk by them like nothing's going on. Yeah, we got nothing for you.
I remember when that happened and I was like, this is so bad. Like, this is so bad. So bad. Those kids are dead. Like, clearly.
Yeah, those kids are gone. And we all knew it. We were just waiting for the fucking bodies to be found. That was all it was. Just waiting for the fucking bodies to be found.
I'm telling you, I follow a lot of this stuff, but Tylee, she haunts me in the saddest way. Like,
yeah,
she was basically an adult, and
just taken by her uncle.
And her awareness. That's what gets me, is her awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking
sad.
That's super fucking bad.
I mean, it's sad when you hear of a little kid when they don't understand. That is sad on its own level. Sad.
Yeah.
But to think of a mostly grown kid who gets what's happening to them, like, man.
No, I completely agree.
This is the worst betrayal of the one person in the world you're supposed to trust and love and be able to rely on. And that's the betrayal they go to.
Man. Yeah. Fuck. Well, we'll have to we'll definitely have to revisit this one as the trial goes on. Did you I checked out, I'm not too versed in what's going on currently, but I do know that they started the new Danny Masterson trial out in LA.
Well, they technically only started jury selection so far.
Right.
So nothing big yet.
Right. But and they have a judge has in another case considered David Miscavige served.
Yes.
Because he was dodging process servers for so fucking long that the judge finally said, fuck it, he's served.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those cases I am not a fan of Scientology at all. I find it to be one of the more amazing cults in that it got so inundated into society.
Yeah.
And it's been allowed to go on for as long as it has. With everyone knowing, I mean, we all know what goes on within it. The stories that have come out, the horrific fucking shit that's come out about it. But yet it still is allowed to be a tax exempt organization. They still allow all this stuff to go on in whatever capacity it still goes on. I know they've closed a lot of things like the whole, they wound up closing down because they had to, because too many people knew about it.
Right.
But this is one that I would love to see just topple. It's a group that I would just love to see fucking fall.
The fact that they still have their tax exempt status is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
I can't believe it, especially the timeline when you look at it. It's just so ridiculous, but it's an interesting one. It's one that's fascinating to follow. And it's definitely on the brink of collapse. I mean, they really don't have that many members anymore in the grand scheme of things. But it's going to take that tax exemption, I think, to really crumble them.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think they can float on for a while.
They got so much money.
Yeah, so they can just float.
So much money.
Just float. Yeah. But I'm hopeful that some of these trials bring to light some more shit.
They're bringing it to new audiences. People who don't necessarily keep up with the happenings of Scientology. They're hearing about it and hearing all the bullshit peripherally, which is good.
Yeah. And if you haven't, check out Aaron Smith-Levin.
Growing up in Scientology.
Growing up in Scientology on YouTube. He puts out a lot of content about this. And sometimes I think he's a little overzealous, but with good reason. He's a former Scientologist, so
he grew up in a cult. I mean, come on. Yeah. He's a little campy sometimes, for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely campy.
He's putting his for best me, that's performative rough. Foot forward.
Yeah.
I'm able, I think, to smile about it and like just take it. It's AA Ron. Whatever.
I enjoy the content, so I'm willing to look past the campiness of it and all the stuff that would normally make me go, oh God.
Yeah.
But I like Aaron, and I like Mike Rinder when he's on.
I got a little crush on Mike Rinder. A little old crush. He's the cutest little old man Rinder. I've ever saw.
And Mark Headley and his wife Claire.
Mark Bunker is another great one. I love him. Yeah. He's not on YouTube as much because he's a Clearwater City Council member now, but he is one of my all-time faves, Mark Bunker.
Yeah, so I am not at all a fan of the whole Scientology religion, quote unquote. I use that word very fucking lightly. And I would really like to see some of these cases that are coming to trial. I'd like to see some people get deposed. Most importantly, David Miscavige.
Yes.
I would love to see that little scumbag gets
Keebler elf.
Yeah, get deposed and have to squirm under questioning.
That honestly, I think that would be pretty groundbreaking too. And that would have a really huge effect, I think, on heading towards that tax exempt status being wiped away. It's an important step.
I really, really hope that they can do something at this point. It's just, to me, it's ridiculous that it's gone on as long as it has.
It is. It is.
You know, the fact that they use celebrities to prop up this religion. It was a religion of the stars.
Yeah.
You know,
they have a celebrity center. I mean, come on.
Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was billed as this thing that would make you so good you'd be famous, basically. That was the selling point of Scientology. And they sucked in a lot of people on that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck?
The stories.
And then you've had so many people who have just taken pages from that playbook. Keith Raniere.
Yes. Huge Keith Raniere. Yeah, he definitely loved him some L. Ron Hubbard.
Well, he just took from the playbook.
Yeah.
You know, technologies and making people pay for shit. And, you know, all the same type of a system. Very, very similar. You know, and this is our technology. You know, we can't share it with anybody else.
Yeah, it's this exclusive little club.
I'm curious. Now, did we ever find out for sure if the quote unquote treatment that Nexium came up with for Tourette's actually worked? Because there was a guy in the second half of the documentary who swore.
I have really controversial opinions about that.
Okay. I mean, all I know is what I saw from the documentary. Right. That's all I know.
I would agree. Same input other than my additional knowledge on the topics. And I would just say the placebo effect is really real. And I'm not invalidating the reality of Tourette's by saying that.
Right.
Like, that's not my intention in saying that. I understand the implications of my words.
Right. I know what you're saying.
But the human mind and the human body have an amazing syncrasy that we don't have a full understanding of. And I can't look at what Keith Raniere built and say he cured a disease. I can't. Right.
Well, I don't think he had anything to do with it.
If anything, she, whatever her name was, had more to do with her name. She was prominent in the documentary, but
right, and then especially in the second half.
I hate to invalidate that sort of stuff because it is a big medical thing, and yes, he did show some remarkable progress. I can't deny it.
Well, it seems like there was a lot of people that did.
There's also, just to be objective, there's also a lot of conflicting science behind Tourette's. Ugh.
Yeah, I listen. I don't know.
I know that's a really sketchy thing to say, especially to people who suffer from it. I get it. It is a very real thing to a lot of people, but there's a lot of cases where there's more involved than an involuntary problem.
Right. I get what you're saying. But I'm very curious about it. Like, as far as that aspect of the Nexium documentary goes, it was one of the things where I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
In the first half, you never really got an answer on whether or not that was
he
invalidated.
wasn't the only one. There was a girl too who had a very similar story. So he wasn't alone.
Right. So you had the first season where they introduced it, that they had done this.
Right.
And then they don't tell you whether it was validated or invalidated.
No, but they do show where he's still kind of on Keith's side, and he's...
Well, they do that in the second half.
Right. In the second half, they show that he's not exactly a supporter, but he still claims he's healed. So
correct.
It's a complicated
but he did
thing.
Support Keith for a long time, even up to very recently.
I wouldn't say that he talks bad about him, but he doesn't like completely.
Right, correct.
Yeah, he's not holding the picket signs out for Keith, but it is interesting. I would agree. That's something
I'd definitely like to know, and I'd like to know what some real medical professionals who work in that field have to say about that. I would be very, very curious to know, because, hey, listen, regardless of what Keith Raniere is, con artist, snake oil salesman, whatever you want to call him, there are instances where even the fucking blind squirrel finds a fucking nut.
Right.
And this could be one of those instances where, even though they were a sham, and that this was just a thing that was created for him to get pussy, because that's all Nexium was just a way for Keith Raniere to get himself skinny, young pussy. That was it. And he even went as far as to control their fucking diets.
Hardcore, too.
Yeah. And he used other women to do it.
Which
was the best.
No, it's the worst.
It's the worst. But you know what I mean.
It's the worst. But yes, from his perspective, it's the best.
So, and like I told you when you and I were talking about documentaries. So, spoiler alert: anyone who hasn't seen the entire Nexium documentary from start to finish, I'm gonna throw a few fucking spoilers in here. And the second half, remember when I told you that of course they took it where he took it where I thought he was going to take it. And I can't remember what your response was, but it was not where my thing that I was thinking. And that was when he basically forced women to have that other woman perform oral on them. The
blonde girl.
Not the blonde girl. It was somebody else. It was the one that he had, the foreign girl there. It's in the second half of the documentary. The second season.
Young girl.
Yes. So I knew that's ultimately where he was going with things. Like, it was the natural.
She was like held captive for a while.
Right. But it was like the natural progression that he was trying to get fucking girl on girl action for himself. And of course he had to fucking force it.
Right.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude. I don't understand that type of mentality. I've never understood that I need to force people to do that, or do this type of thing, or do this sexual thing. I've never understood rapists. I've never understood, any type of sexual assault. It's just like, what the fuck?
I wouldn't say I don't understand that. I have a easier time wrapping my mind around the sexual assault than I do the women who are now standing outside the prison that he's held in, actively supporting him, showing
Oh,
him their
yeah.
tits.
Yeah.
That's where my mind. Sure, it sucks, but like,
They're sitting out there with their flashlights, sending him messages.
right?
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah, talking to him back and forth with flashlights.
Enough people have raped and done the craziest things for sex that I can believe that. But I don't get a woman knowing that a guy has gone to these extreme lengths just to get some pussy, and you're out there outside his prison cell. Showing him your tits.
Yeah,
and I can't
it's
relate.
Just like, yeah, we totally get it. We understand what he did.
I can't get on that level. I can't.
Yeah.
Can't.
It's fucking. It's crazy big love.
I'm a flexible person, but my mind cannot go there.
Just can't flex to that.
Nope.
No Stretch Armstrong can't go that far.
Yoga ain't getting me there. No Pilates, none of it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Keith Raniere is I don't want to say interesting individual. He is an interesting individual, and people like him should be studied.
He's interesting, but he's repulsive person.
Con men of his caliber, like the fact that he was able to talk so many people with so much money into just doing what he wanted to do, throwing all of their fucking chips in with him so that like he had tons of resources.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't want to say unlimited resources, but he kind of did.
Yeah, but he didn't have any of those himself. He got it all from sweet talking people. Like he was a smooth talker.
Yeah, the girls there that were what was it? I don't know if it was two of them or it was just one. The Seagrams heirs.
Yes, the sisters. Yeah, it was two sisters. And they were like quadrillionaires or whatever.
Right, and he got them on board. The woman there that we can't remember her fucking name.
Allison Mack.
Not Allison Mack, the other one. The one that was his like partner.
The doctor lady. Yeah.
Her he got people involved that gave much like with L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology, where he used celebrities. Keith Raniere used celebrities too, but he also used money, power, and credibility. He tried to add like this air of credibility with, hey, we've done these things like the Tourette's thing. This is like legit stuff.
Right. Well, and even to get him to that point, he was so good at presenting himself as a savant or like, he was just so good at smooth talking. And I think the interviews that they put out of
I have an IQ of blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I was a martial arts champion and
pianist that he,
And when you go and look into like his actual background,
he was so full of shit.
A lot of it very much full of shit. His successful quote unquote businesses were failures.
Mm-hmm. But he was that fake it till you make it guy, Oh,
and most definitely.
I think Allison Mack, the way Allison Mack just sat and was so captivated by him is the perfect that's what he did to people. He mesmerized people and just captivated them and pulled them in. And they were just under his spell.
Yeah, she stared at him
like a looking glass.
That's what worship is.
Yes.
Like the way she looked at him, that's how you worship a person on planet Earth as if they were a god.
Yeah.
That's the only way that's the best way I can describe her look when she, or the way she was when she was around him. And the way she would talk to him.
Yeah.
She gave it all.
She gave it all. Completely devoted and completely invested in every little burp that came out of him. She was there for it.
She was emotionally naked on a bed with her pussy spread every second of every moment she was with him.
For sure.
Like, that's just the way she was.
Yeah, it sounds like a graphic joke or something, but like that really is a perfect representation of her commitment to Keith Raniere.
Yeah, she just was ready for him at all times. You know, and it sounds disgusting because it is.
And that's why she's in prison too.
Yeah. The stuff they did, that's just it's
unreal. When all the stuff broke, it really did seem unreal. And even still looking back on it, it's just like, wow, like how did that happen? But then you look at Scientology and you're like, well, shit, it's
how did
different,
they manage,
but it's still happening.
How did they manage to fucking brand all those women? That's the part of it that fucking that I can't get, and that none of them fucking figured out until later on that it was Keith Raniere's and Allison Mack's initials.
I have a hard time with that.
It's the best.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, but people allowed it. They allowed it.
I've been devoted to stuff, but
you know, and we say this all the time, you know, no way, no way, no way. And then when you hear these people in these documentaries, these people that have been in it and gotten out, or been in it and they're still in it, or what, you begin to understand at least a little more about how people get indoctrinated into thinking there's no way out, you know. And then you think back to when you were a kid and you're like, and you're in your family and you're like, there's no way out of this. And then all of a sudden you're 18 and you're like, wait a minute, there was always a fucking way out of this.
Right.
You know, like you're bound by the prisons that you put on yourself a lot of times. And I think that's the big lesson with cults is that everyone needs to learn. You're bound by these fucking these barriers, these prisons, these you know, I can't do it.
Right.
You know, you're bound by that. And the more you restrict yourself, the less you allow your reach in this world. And, you know, I think that's a lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I think we put ourselves in prisons all the time. You know, we're like, hey, I can't do that anymore. Or, you know, I can't be that person anymore. I do it with fucking, I used to hike. Hey, dumbass, you still could. Which probably will this summer.
Yeah.
Been really, really thinking about it. So, but yeah, it's the prisons we build.
Yes,
we do it to ourselves.
It's scary because it all starts on positivity. You know what I mean? None of these people got into NXIVM because they thought it was going to ruin their life. You know, quite the opposite.
Same thing with Scientology.
Yeah, it's a positive thing. They're improving themselves.
I'm gonna go clear. I'm gonna get rid of all my problems, Katie. I'm going to go clear and I'm going to get rid of all my problems. And why is that a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing? I can't argue with that shit.
Yeah.
I can't argue with, you know, hey, I want to clean up my life and get rid of these bad things in my life. Okay. Yeah. No, I get that. I'm not sure I quite get the method.
Well, but I mean, you think about people buy into Tony Robbins and stuff, and NXIVM felt very Tony Robbins.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I do get how people get into that with the self-help.
Without the lurch-looking guy with the really weird electronic voice.
I don't know. I have this weird thing about Tony Robbins. He's like weirdly, wildly attractive, all at the same time as seem freakish to me.
He talks like he should be an animatronic dude at Disney with the presidents.
I got a thing for Iron Man, so maybe that's my.
I don't know. He's just, I don't know. There's something about the way he talks.
Tony Robbins.
Something about his voice. I like Tony Robbins. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I don't have like a thing against Tony Robbins and fucking personal power. I mean, hey, dude, whatever fucking floats your boat. But there's something about that dude's voice. I feel like he hypnotizes people with his voice in some way.
He gets so much tail.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not gonna lie. If I met him when I was single,
Dude's
I'd probably take him for a ride.
Guarantee fucking Tony Robbins is a pussy hound. I will fucking guarantee it. Guarantee it.
I have so many
Did you ever watch the documentary?
Yes, a long time ago.
The documentary that they put on Netflix was really good.
It was very good, and
I definitely enjoyed that. It was a side of him that I did not know. And I had never seen. Chris. I bet you did. I bet Joe was like, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna let you stay alone with your documentary.
That's probably pretty accurate.
But yeah, so I really enjoyed that one. At least like getting to understand like how his, seminars work. And I mean, hey, if that works for you, great.
I would agree.
If that's how you can find your way to unlock the shit that's in you, good. Do that for you.
It's just when you get people in that position that have malicious intent,
then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a big problem. And then
those people hold a lot of power.
And you did have somebody like that with Keith Raniere.
Yes.
There was a definitely malicious intent. Definitely someone who attempted to control every facet of what was going on within his organization. And if someone was out of line, there was a huge fucking problem.
Yeah.
Keith Raniere, to me, was probably, I'm gonna have to say, like, for this time period, probably the most prolific cult leader.
Yeah, for the modern generations, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, look at what he created. And I mean, Scientology is huge. It's absolutely huge. I don't think there's anything that compares to it, but it's been going on for so long now, it crosses generations.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's third generation, fourth generation people living in Scientology right now. So
right. Yeah.
But
so
NXIVM was definitely a new age cult, unlike anything we've seen before, and that got prosecuted, which is also unique,
Yeah, and how interesting is it that he managed to combine, like, it wasn't a religion,
right?
But it was a business.
Yeah. It's complicated for sure.
The whole fucking thing was so complicated.
I don't think he had a tax exempt status.
No.
Right? No. I
don't believe he had tax exempt status, but I think he was working toward it.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that was probably his next step. Like, he had the Dalai Lama fucking show up.
That was
like
weird.
you and I were talking about last week with the Dalai Lama shit. With
that
the
was weird.
Tongue sucking. Suck my tongue.
I was so fucked up. But honestly, when I watched that clip of him and the little kid, it reminded me of how awkward the Keith Raniere and Dalai Lama meeting was. It was super weird. I don't care who you are. You can't watch that thing and tell me it doesn't make you go like, that was weird.
Yeah, what's going on?
It was weird.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking the Dalai Lama was fucking weird too, and it wasn't all because of Keith Raniere. I don't think Keith Raniere can get all the credit for the weirdness.
For the weirdness.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think that is the more interesting cult of our time.
For sure.
You know, what a weird ride that NXIVM documentary. And if you haven't like watched that fucking thing,
HBO did great.
Yeah. The 2 seasons, I would say the first season I probably enjoyed a little better than the second season. But the second season wraps up a bunch of stuff and brings stuff around. So I would say it's worth watching the whole fucking thing.
Oh yeah, you have to watch the whole thing. And
it's long, it's drawn out, but I got sucked into it and I just couldn't stop watching episode after episode. I was watching it weekly this second half. The first half, I think I watched, like, it was already like halfway through or something. I watched most of it and then kept up on it weekly. But it's one of those things I couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah.
It was like Tiger King.
Right.
Fucking yes, Tiger King. I know. They could come up with another Tiger King.
I'll watch I'd 5 more.
I fucking give it to me. Like, what more can you tell me about Joe Exotic that I don't know?
Right. Well, the HBO doc, that was actually one that we covered on the old podcast, and I did a write-up for it, and I legitimately still have the notebook. I took like 14 pages worth of notes as I watched season 1. I'm not talking about season 2. I'm talking about season 1. And I had 14 pages worth of notes that I took while I watched it.
You did that much work for this show.
I dove in so deep, and I was committed.
I get crazy about shit like that too, though.
Yeah.
Like this stuff. So, all right, we're going to wrap this up. We've almost been going for 2 hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this shit, actually, let me grab the new link for the podcast because it's no longer Anchor. They changed it around on me, the bastards. Everything changed to Spotify.
Anchor isn't a thing anymore?
What's that?
Anchor isn't a thing anymore?
Well, Anchor was always
a distribution platform.
Right. Well, it was always owned by Spotify.
Right.
So, but if you go to Spotify, if you have the Spotify app on your phone, and just subscribe, look up the Fortean Files.
Yeah.
As it's spelled there on the screen below me, down below me there, and Katie. But it's below Katie, right below Katie. Yeah, she's trying to point at it. But it's literally just as it's spelled there. Look up the Fortean Files. Subscribe to the podcast. It really helps us out with knowing how many people are actually listening to the show. And you can watch the video on Spotify if you have the Spotify app. But this will take you to the show if you want to just listen to the show, catch up on the show, whatever. You can subscribe to the show through Spotify there. You just have to, you'll only be able to do it on the computer. With that, you'll have to go to the app to do it on your phone. So it gets a little confusing. Apologize for that. The Facebook page. So I don't know what's going on with the Facebook page. The notifications that I keep getting from Facebook have not made me hopeful.
That's not good.
We are 10 months in from when they finally decided that last post was too much for the page. And then just like last week, they hit me with another one. Which they came back and said, they agreed with me that it didn't go against community standards, so everything is fine. But they're still saying that it doesn't look like the ban's going to be coming up on the Facebook page. However, I'm going to keep things going there for now. If they do after a year keep the ban up on the Facebook page, I'm just going to make a new one for the Fortean Files. Excuse me. I will try to direct everybody over to there, and start doing the announcements on that page, because it will get better distribution than what I'm getting on the Fortean Slip page. I just wanted to continue to use the Fortean Slip page because it's a fucking large. It took me a long time to build it.
Yeah,
it's
you got a lot of people there.
So it's a pain in the fucking nuts. But anywho, and subscribe to the podcast at youtube.com/@the Files on YouTube. It's where we do the live stream goes out to. Those of you that are watching right now live are watching it on there, so thank you. But those of you that listen or watch on the podcast, if you want to watch live, you can go to YouTube. youtube.com/@the Fortean Files. That's the @ symbol THEFORTEANFILES. And give us some fucking support, ladies and gentlemen. Until next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be good to one another, ladies and gentlemen. It is a strange fucking world out there. The things that we bring to you are not the things to be afraid of. Mostly. Well, at least the first half. Second half. Be afraid. Be very afraid. First half, not so much. But be good to the people that are around you. Take care of one another, and we will see you next Monday, same bad time, same bad channel, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Till then, see ya.